Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation. And today we're going to, as you may have guessed, talk about Commander Masters. So Commander Masters is certainly a set and is there for the monetary value, although most of the good reprints were released in Eldraine like a couple of weeks later in Wilds of Eldraine. So yeah, some people call it a full magnet of a set or something like that. And Commander Masters had three products available at the same time. So you had set boosters, draft boosters, and pre-con decks. So pre-con decks we already open, video on the top. Set booster boxes we already open, video on the top. And draft booster boxes I don't think we opened. Maybe yes, I don't remember. If we did, video link somewhere. So, but here's the thing, right? You know how I sometimes tell you that I buy draft boxes, but I don't open them in the channel because it's kind of what's the point? And I guess that Wizards is listening to that because they stopped with the draft boosters and the set boosters. Well, now we only have play boosters, which is the same type of booster that we had at the beginning of Magic the Gathering, but I digress. So the whole thing here is that, draft boosters are supposed to be better for draft. That's why they were worse in terms of collectibles. And then the set boosters are better for collectibles. So they always have a foil, they always have an art card, and they have better probabilities at rares or mythics, which at the same time is like kind of pointless, I guess, because you just buy set boosters for everything, which is what people did pretty much. And draft boosters were supposed to be optimized for draft. And that means that you only get one rare or mythic, but the balance in the cards was better. Now, all this to say, Commander Masters has draft boosters. And recently, I actually played with some of my friends some Commander Masters draft. So we got a box of these. Or well, one of the boxes that I have. So we opened it and I was like, okay, let's do some draft. And technically, draft in Commander follows the same rules as normal draft. So 3 boosters per person, open 1, pass it to the side, open 1, pass it to the side. Or you can do pre-release style draft, which is you open your boosters, try to build a deck with it. Now, just because of pure probability, if you open 3 boosters yourself, it's not as good as opening 6 boosters. And that's why pre-releases have 6 boosters, because you're supposed to, not always, but most of the time, just sit on your corner, do your deck, come back, and having 6 boosters gives you more flexibility than just having 3. Because if you have 3, the idea is to pass them to the right. If you pass them to the right, you always have a better, it's like opening X amount of boosters, which are always decreasing in card number, but you get the point. So we tried to do a deck with 3. Then we tried to do a deck with 4, 5, and 6. We kept opening boosters, and I think we stopped at 6 or 7. And at that point, we were like, okay, I guess we can build a deck now. And that just proved a point. When I asked my friends, do you want to do a draft of Commander Masters? Do you want to do a draft of Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate, which right now should be very hot because of the game? Or you want to do a draft of Commander Legends? Most of the table was like, Commander Masters, and because, well, Commander Masters technically has more expensive cards, and technically better cards, so technically you can do cooler stuff with it. So today we're going to, in a very non-scientific way, we're going to put this to the test, because obviously this is just a sample. I can just be opening here boxes for 5 hours and maybe we can reach a conclusion. So this is just an example of, if you pick 3 boosters, will you be able to do a proper drafting Commander? Now, another thing that I want to show you is, and I realize that this playmat is very nice looking, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to show you stuff because it's all colors at the same time. The draft boxes come with inserts. So Commander Legends came with a Bible, actually, telling you how to command the draft. And it says, you can pause at any moment if you want to read this, but it says, what the draft is, what the Prismatic Piper is, Commander Battle, build your deck. And then the archetypes. You have a bunch of archetypes so that it's easier for you to build stuff based on the draft archetypes, but it tells you that, well, you open, draw 2 cards rather than 1, pass it to the left. So we're not going to do that. We're going to play with ourselves, try to do like a self draft here. And yes, I know what you are ready to comment. If you're doing that, you might as well do 6 boosters, because if you're doing the draft with yourself, like in a pre-release, you should have 6. And I can pull 6, but the results are not going to change, brother. So might as well, for the sake of time, use 3 and just see what will look like. These boosters have 20 cards instead of 15. And they specify here that you are supposed to build a 60 card deck instead of 100, because lands are provided by your local game store or by your hosts or whatever, or you bring your own, depending on how you do your life. And you should have a commander. You can have 2 if both have partner. You may use up to 2 of the Prismatic Piper as your commanders. It does say here that the Prismatic Piper, you can use it, but if you don't have one, don't worry, you can bring one from outside of the draft. The Prismatic Piper is a very shitty commander that likely we're going to pull, and its only reason to exist is to enable you to use another color, because no one is going to call a Prismatic Piper. It's very expensive and it doesn't do anything. If I don't pull it, I will show you one, but just so you know, the only reason why Prismatic Piper is there is to enable you to use a color. So it's basically a trump card. And then it says that you can use up to 2 Prismatic Piper because they have partners, so that makes sense. The singleton rule doesn't really apply, and that makes sense because if you only have X cards and you see a card that kind of matches, if you have it twice, it's like whatever, 60 cards. Some people have complained about the draft rules that Wizards of the Coast have published for Commander as a very sneaky way of having you draft a normal Magic the Gathering deck, because no one plays Standard anymore. But it must have at least 60 cards, including your commander. It should have, most successful ones have 25 lands. So very, very big guide, explains you everything you need to know. Now, in my opinion, so far, Commander Legends is the better draft commander thing set. But then there is Battle for Baldur's Gate, and it's not that bad. The problem is that it's not as good as Commander Legends, and it doesn't have as expensive cards as Commander Masters. So there you go. You get this card. Now they went a little bit more cardboard, and it says the CLB draft archetypes. So you can pause if you want to check them for any reason. And it gives you the information here. So the same, instead of building, blah, blah, at the beginning of the draft, each player opens 1 booster, drafts 2 cards, pass it to the side, blah, blah. You do a 60 card deck. It doesn't, you don't have the Prismatic Piper here. It says that same rules, color identity rules apply. So the difficulty here is that your commander will determine the color identity of your deck. So you can only have cards in your deck that share a color with your commander, or at least have a color symbol that is in your commander card. Singleton doesn't apply. You can choose a background. Legendary creatures with choose a background ability let you have a background enchantment as a second commander. So this is a mechanic that they introduce here. They try stuff sometimes. Sometimes they break commander, like when they did the Eminence cards. Join legendary creature of 1 color with a background of another color to make a 2-color draft. So, more flexibility. Instead of just creatures, you can have creatures and enchantments. And you have the faceless one. You should have many opportunities to draft awesome legendary creatures and planeswalkers during the draft. But if you didn't draft a commander of the right colors to lead your deck, faceless one can step in to fill the void. So it's basically the Prismatic Piper for Dungeons and Dragons. The faceless one is both a legendary creature and a background enchantment, so you can use it as your commander, your second commander, or both, even if you didn't draft any. Just add up 1 or 2 to your card pool after the draft. So once again, you can just bring it from the outside, is okay. For each faceless one you include as your commander, choose a color. That color is the color of that faceless one. Say you draft a great blue and black, blah, blah, blah. So same logic, and it says commander battle, blah, blah, blah. And for commander masters, they didn't try that much. So they say like, hey, these are the precons, great. And these are the archetypes. And I swear to God, not much here. So they don't explain the rules. They don't tell you anything. There are no tricks. And I know what you may be thinking. you're rethinking two things. One, you're kind of late for this video, sorry, but some people are still buying draft because they are cheaper now. And two, well, I mean, if it's a Commander Master set, you don't need the rules. You already know how to do it, and they just show you the archetypes. It's like, yes, but that, my friends, is a red herring for what is about to happen. So the other two were built for draft specifically, and this one was built to get your money. And then they kind of thought like, yeah, just put draft, put sets, put precons, put everything. We will just sell everything. I'm surprised that they didn't do jumpstart boosters. So let's start with Commander Legends. And let's see why this one is the best Commander draft set to ever be made. And yes, I already have a lot of these wrappers. That's why I'm opening them like a savage, contrary to what you normally see in this channel. So let's see. Strategic planning. And you know what? Let's do something. Let's separate them by color as well, so that the way we can, average kind of what we could do with this. Spark Harvest, not bad. Spark Tongue Dragon, so a bunch of sparks, cool. Flood of Recollection, useful. Ivy Lane Denizen, Ravnica, coincidence much. Dragon Mantle, okay. Sentinel Spider, cool. Foundry Inspector. Some good memories. Let's put this here. Phyrexian Rager, cool. Ninth Breach Patrol, okay. Lysalana Bowmaster, cool. So again, you're not going to get rich with these boosters. This is to play. Armillary Sphere, cool. Command Tower, great. Ingenuity Engine. It has Cascade, Sacrifice an Artifact, great. Volcanic Dragon, okay, I can do stuff with this. It's a pretty simple creature, but it is what it is. Grafted Wargear, and by now we should be getting to that point. Now, one thing that you will notice in the Commander Legends booster is the sorting of the cards. How many cards and what type of cards are in those boosters, because it's random, but it's not that random. It's controlled random, and that's for a reason, because it's to make draft fun. So, Grafted Wargear, and we get the rare or mythic of the pack. In this case is Laboratory Drudge, creature zombie horror. It's a 3/4 for 3 and 1 blue that says, at the beginning of each end step, draw a card if you have cast a spell from a graveyard or activate an ability of a card in a graveyard this turn. Pretty good. So, there you go. And here's where the format kicks in. The booster technically ended in the rare or mythic, and now you have legendary creatures, because this is for Commander, so you always need at least a legendary creature. So from this we will get Iktekik, Savage Splicer, not a bad card. So Human Artificer, 1/1 for 4 and 1 green. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 3/3 colorless golem, and when an artifact is put into a graveyard from a battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Iktek and a +1/+1 counter on each golem you control. It has partner. This is very important. It has partner, people. So let's put this on the side. And what is this? Another legendary creature. So yes, you get 2 legendary creatures per booster. And mind you, legendary creatures can be common, uncommon. Sorry, I don't think there's any common one. Like, they can be uncommon, or they can be rare or mythic. So technically it multiplies your numbers. We got a Kolfenor, the Last U. For 3, 1 white, blue, black, and green, is a 3/7, 3-folk shaman that has vigilance, reach, and whenever Kolfenor, the Last U, or another creature you control dies, return up to 1 other target creature card with lesser toughness from your graveyard to your hand. So, right now, you can see that we got a monocolor commander, or at least, well, candidate for commander, that has partners. So that's a beautiful thing about this set. They really went into the partner mechanics. So if you have monocolors, they have partner most of the times, but if you have multicolor, they don't have partner, because why would you need it? So we already have a good start here. Another Volcanic Dragon, not bad. We can actually repeat if we want, and then a token that is publicity, and this person looks like Kishibia Rohan. So that is that. So token here. Let's open booster number 2. Remember that in a normal draft you will just pick one and pass, but still, some people, and a lot of times when people are not comfortable with letting go of the pools that they got. Sometimes technical problems. I don't know why these things stopped recording. So remember that sometimes when you are opening drafts, some people don't let go of their pools, and if they don't want to let go of their pool for some reason, instead of just doing draft by shifting the booster to the right, they just want to open their boosters and build something in quote privacy. So let's see. Sailor of Means, not bad. Soul's Might, Boarding Party, okay, interesting. Deranged Assistant. You can see, I'm not going into each card individually, but you can see by the types that this thing has a lot of, you have some archetypes here, but is overall very flexible to let you do whatever you want to do with it. Ancestral Blade, Wild Size, Charcoal Diamond, and just by default tab, gives you 1 black, so it's like the soft Mox Mana Rocks. It's like double stuff because it's 2 for 1, but it enters tapped, so it's like whatever. Viscera Seer, not bad. Soul's Fire, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any target, not bad. Captain's Skull, again, create 3 creature tokens. A lot of these cards are not like game changing, but mind you, is draft. So the fun part about draft, and this is why a lot of people like draft, is that you have to think on top of your, or you need to be on top of the game, and you need to think, and you actually get to use commons and uncommons that you will normally don't use, because normally we just separate them and throw them aside because there is not much use for them. Opal Palace. So this way you have average decks that are kind of weird, wonky, and funny, and you actually get to do stuff. Ooh, Oars of Advocates. This card is a pain in the ass in Commander. So this, between this and this hypothetical commander, I will already have my deck, I think. Now, a land, Guildness Commons, and let's see, the Victimize, very useful card. Choose 2 creature target cards in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. So, not bad. And the rare mythic is War Room, which is a land that gives you 1 colorless, and if you pay 3 and tap, you pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity, you draw a card, which is okay. So there's that. And now we go to the legendary creatures that have partner most of the time. So in this case, you have Krark, the Thumbless. For 1 and 1 red is a 2/2 Goblin Wizard that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner hand. If you win the flip, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Not bad, kind of cheap, and it has partner. So you can partner it with our green commander. There you go. And now we got a black one that has partner as well. Sengir, the Dark Baron. For 4 and 2 black is a 4/4 that says, is a vampire novel that says flying. Whenever another creature dies, put 2+1/+1 counters on Sengir, or Sengir, I don't know, GIF or GIF, the Dark Baron. Whenever another player loses the game, you gain life equal to that player's life total as the turn began. It has partner. So again, we have three commanders with partner, a foil that is Finclade Fugitives, and a Monarch token that is also an ad with Kishibe Rohander. So not bad. And the last booster, and mind you, if you only open 3 boosters, the probability here is that Blade is that you are not going to be able to build a deck just with these cards. So technically, yes, you only need to open 6, which we can do. The results are going to be pretty much the same. And let me know down below if you actually want me to start building decks on the spot, opening draft boosters, because that will be fun for me. But I don't know how boring it will be for you, because in this example, we're just trying to prove the differences between the structure of the draft booster packs and why ones are better than others. And if that's the case, and that's why I'm only opening 3, which is the 3 that you will get, and you will just move around, so you will get an idea, because then you have the multiplier in probability of all the other boosters that you get from other people, and the more people you play with in that draft, the more multipliers you get. So 4 boosters, right? But it's always, at the end of the day, is more or less the same. Like, you only get benefits if you play with 6 or more people, I will say. Like, the more people, the better, like 8 people, etc. Mindless Automaton. not bad. You get a lot of artifacts because they just fit everywhere, which is something that they realized. Buy Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, and then Commander Masters. The colors are kind of dangerous when you're doing drafting Commander, but you need the colors. So, and the rare / mythic here is a rare is slash the ranks for 3 and 2 white. Is a sorcery that says destroy all creatures and planeswalkers except for commanders. So not bad. And then we get the legendary creatures that actually can be commanders. So Ardent Intrepid Archaeologist for 2 and 1 white is a 2/2 Core Scout that says at the beginning of combat on your turn you may attach any number of auras and equipments you control to target permanent or player. It has partner. Not bad. So another card with partner. And look at this. Mythic card. Achroma Vision of Ixidor. Or Ixidor, I don't know. For 5 and 2 white is a 6/6 angel that has flying, first strike, vigilance, and trample. And it says, at the beginning of each combat until the end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, +1/+1 if it has first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner. And it has partner. So you can just partner this with whatever of the other creatures that we have with partner. So not bad at all. Then a Scav Goliath in foil and a copy. So they put they put foils in here so that you get, I mean, if you get like a rare mythic foil, then that influences the draft because a lot of people just prioritize value over the actual gameplay. But hey, you saw the structure, not bad. Imagine moving this forward. Now you will notice something. We only got 1 multicolor card. Again, this is like a 3 booster sample. By probability, you can get more than this, etc. But I can tell you from opening a bunch of those that the multicolor commanders are not very common. The whole set is designed for you to have single color commanders with partner. And if you want a specific color that you didn't get a commander for, you can use a Prismatic Piper, which now that I realized, we haven't pulled one. So let's see if we get one in Commander Masters or something. But basically a Prismatic Piper, which, give me a second, I will show it to you. And we jump cut because I'm back. Remember how I normally say that if you can't find your cards, you don't have them? Well, do as I say, not as I do. It was kind of hard to find this. So this is some of the cards from previous drafts. As you can see, I wanted to pull the Prismatic Piper, but I wanted to just, since we are here, just to show you some of the possibilities for multicolor cards that you get. We don't have that many compared to single color ones. This is just like multicolor and colorless. So you get some, right? But if you compare this to the rest of the cards, trust me, like this for is nothing compared to this. So obviously you get a lot more of colorless and single color because that's how the set is designed to work, because it's a draft set and it's built for draft. It's not to grab your money. I mean, yes, you pay. There you go, Prismatic Piper. You pay, but at least you get fun. Prismatic Piper is a 5-mana shapeshifter creature that is a 3/3 and says it is everything and nothing, which is a great way of putting it. If the Prismatic Piper is your commander, choose a color before the game begins. The Prismatic Piper is the chosen color, and it has partners. So this thing is not something you're going to call ever, because for 5, a 3/3 with no effects, like, what? This basically is just a placeholder for you to be able to say, I am blue and red, and you use this as your red commander standee, right? So other than that, not much of a real point, if I had to be honest with you. So, but they thought about that, and that's why they have a placeholder there, because without a placeholder, it will be very difficult. Now, let's move on to the sequel, Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate Draft Boosters. Now, Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate also had a warm reception, and the reason is kind of similar. This Commander Legends set, the first one, was designed, well, for Commander and for Draft, and it was a cool idea, and they wanted to do it properly, at least that's my take. And it kind of worked, in my humble opinion. But when they moved into Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, this thing has set boosters, this thing has bundles, this thing has everything, right? So This is kind of a conflict of interests, similar to Commander Master, but at least they call it Commander Legends, although a lot of people, me included, think that, to be honest, they call it Commander Masters because that way, Commander Legends, because they knew that way they could put more money in from a set that was not modern legal or standard legal. So there is that. Let's see. Patron of the Arts, Ambitious Dragonborn, Grey Harbor Merfolk, Mikrul's Invoker, Tabaxi Toucaneers, already we got one of each color, not bad there. Coronation of Chaos, Citadel Gate. Citadel Gate enters battlefield tap. If you enter the battlefield, choose a color other than white. So these are the flexi lands. One thing that you will notice here is that these boosters have a tendency for patterns, which is something that I don't know if it's good or bad. But basically, you see that here is like one color other than white. And here is one color other than green. And sometimes in a single booster, you will get the entire cycle. So, kind of weird. So, 3 lands, 3 gates. So, 1 mana of any color, and you get some flexibility here, which is not bad. Myconid Spore Tender. Lantern of Revealing. Add 1 mana of any color. And for 4, not amazing, just sort of a thing. Nefarious Imp. Engineer's Artillerist, and let's be honest, most commons and uncommons you may have a use in your commander deck, but artifacts, everyone rules for them, so that's why they are more expensive, etc. So Contraband, Livestock, a very D&D type card. You need a D20 for this, so not bad. Amethyst Dragon, a Sorcery Adventure card, and the first legendary creature. And the structure here is a little bit different, but is kind of the same, in the sense that you don't get 2 with partner. Now you get a legendary creature and maybe like at least 1 legendary creature in a background, sometimes 2 legendary creatures. But so you have Rilsa Real Kingpin for 3 and 1 blue and 1 black, is a human rogue. It's a 2/5. Death Touch. When Rilsa Real Kingpin enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains Death Touch until the end of turn. If you have completed a dungeon, that creature also gets +5/+0 and gains First Strike and Menace until the end of turn. So one thing that you notice in both of these sets is that the hypothetical commanders are not bangers and you get a lot of uncommon commanders, but that's the fun. Otherwise we wouldn't use them, because normally everyone uses more or less the same commanders because of the meta, right? So even more if you want to get competitive. But this is a multicolor commander right there, so that's not bad. And then you get Tavern Brawler. Is a legendary enchantment background. So for 2 and 1 red, you get commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. This creature gets +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X is that card's mana value. You may play that card this turn. So in case you didn't get it when I was reading the thing, you can add backgrounds to your commanders. So if you pick this one as your commander, you will play blue and black, but if you add this one, you can also play red, because backgrounds are that. Basically an ability that you add to your commander. So you have that one, and in this case we got a rare that is a legendary creature, Jan Jansen, Chaos Crafter. So for red, white, and black is a 3/3 Gnome Artificer that has haste. You can tap it to sacrifice an artifact creature, create 2 treasure tokens, and you can tap it to sacrifice a non-creature artifact and create 2 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature tokens. So not bad, very flexible in terms of color, but again, you're not going to, be the king of the table with this commander in a normal commander night. Then the rare of this pack is Robe of the Archmagi or Archmagi, whatever. For 2 and 1 blue, is an artifact equipment. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Equip 4, yikes. Equip Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard 1. So, for tribals. And we got another. The foil is actually a rare, so not a bad pack, I will say. Blade of Selves. For 2 is equipment that says equipped creature has Myriad. And Myriad means whenever it attacks, for each opponent other than the defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of that creature that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat, and it has equip 4. So, not bad. And you have the initiative card and a dungeon, the Undercity. So let's remember that this set was the one with the dungeons. So there is the reason for that. Next in line, next booster will be, let's see, Cogwood Stormkeeper, Winter Eldrin, Chain Devil, Goliath Paladin, Breath Weapon, Hipgate, again, Decanter of Endless Water. You have no maximum hand size of a mana of any color, not bad, but kind of expensive for 3. Manorgate, anything other than green. Evolving Wilds, sacrifice Evolving Wilds, go search something. Not bad. Wyrm's Crossing Patrol. You can see that this set is like, it has cards for Commander, but it's not like a Commander Greatest Hits. This sits right in between both, which is funny because it's actually the one that came in between both Commander Masters and Commander Legends. So it doesn't have the value of Commander Masters, but it doesn't have the playability of Commander Legends. And Commander Legends, mind you, has some valuable cards. This setting here also has some valuable cards. It doesn't have that many valuable cards, but it has some. Slaughter of the Strong, Moonshade Pixie, Stone Speaker Crystal, and here we are at the Commander Zone. So, Legendary Enchantment Background is a Street Urchin. Is for 1 and 1 red. Commander creatures you own have pay 1, sacrifice another creature or an artifact. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. So, not a bad idea, the backgrounds. The problem is that, well, maybe you can do a creative combination, but normally they are not too overpowered. So, there is that. Oh, Nira, Wild Mage, for 4. So, you can see that they already, just by sheer probability, they invested more in multicolor things because of the backgrounds being there as a, it fits anything kind of thing. Whenever you cast a spell, it's a 2/7, by the way, a Human Elf Shaman. Whenever you cast a spell, you may put it on the bottom of its owner's library. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. Not a bad commander. Not great, but not bad. And is a rare card, so cool. The rare in this booster is Monster Manual, which is an artifact for 3 and 1 green. You can either go Adventure, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card, mill this way to your hand, and then you can use it properly, which is once it's on the battlefield, for 1 and 1 green, you tap it. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, which is kind of very good because it doesn't say that you need to pay its mana cost, so that's great. No, not bad. That's not the cheapest thing, but then a foil Dragon Warrior and a Dragon token that is also an ad. So, second booster, you have an example of that. There is always a legendary creature and there is always a background. So, similar to the other ones, to Commander Legends trying to have partner with partner always, and they introduce the Prismatic Piper as the cheat card for you to do that here. Here you have the Faceless one, which I don't think I have a Faceless one, now that I think about it, because I haven't opened that many boosters of this thing. Or at least I don't remember having it. So that may be the problem. But again, this is another, kind of a podcasting as we analyze the structure of boosters. Because when people talk about boosters, the thing that is always people always comment and analyze is the amounts of rares and mythics and the probabilities and all that. And that's great because, these are loot boxes. So you might as well check those numbers. But the thing that I feel attracted to is the structure of the boosters. The same way that it's like, why are these cards, cards put in this way in this set, but in that way in the other set? Is that on purpose? Is that a design choice? Is that a thing that is part of the opening experience? Is by design? It's an error? It depends on the factory. What's up with that? But because it's consistent in the same set, it's not random in the same set. So those are the things that I find interesting. And in the case of the Commander Legends and Commander Masters, if you're going to draft, the structure of it is important because they are random or semi-random, but the fact that you need to have some structure for it to be useful and usable is what makes it or breaks it. And in this case, the other one has partner and always 2 legendary creatures. And in this case, you get a bunch of things that are, cool, kind of lukewarm, and then you get to the same thing. Legendary creature, Halfling Rogue for 2 and 1 blue, is a 3/2, Allura Meritive. And Alora says, whenever you attack, up to one target attacking creature can be blocked this turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. You choose a background. You can have a background as a second commander. So, not bad. Do we get a background? Actually, we do. So, because you always get a legendary creature and a background. So, however, not all legendary creatures support a background. They need to be compatible. So, that kind of limits how much you can do with backgrounds, and that's why they are not cheated more into the game. Cloakwood Hermit for 2 and 1 green is a background that says commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your end step, if a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Not bad. A creature horror, that's the rare of this package, is the Illithid Harvester for 4 and 1 blue. Is a 4/4 creature horror that has plant tadpoles for X and 2 blue. You tap X target creatures, they don't untap during their controller's next untap step. And if you just, summon it, it has Cerimorphosis. When Illithid Harvester enters the battlefield, turn any number of target tapped non-token creatures face down. They are 2/2 horror creatures. So, not bad. Then the foil is actually, this cool. I like this style of card. Not gonna lie. It's another legendary creature, so you could use it as your commander, I guess. Renari, Merchant of Marvels, for 3 and 1 blue. It's a 2/4 that says you may cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. Choose a background. So, not bad. The one thing that confuses me is that the color is technically the color of the mana type of the card, but it just sometimes is confusing. And a skeleton token that has menace is a 4/1, kind of aggressive, and an ad. So, Commander Legends. Lessons, Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. Lessons that we take from this. This is a tamer set, in my opinion. Again, this is like a small sample. This is not like a conclusive, but you can just check the set list online. And I mean, I play with these sets a lot, so it's more or less demonstrated in a small sample. Because that's the joke. Sometimes you even just get to draft one time and you get like, I don't like this set, and dies, right? So it needs to prove itself in any occasion, even if a little. It needs to be a little bit fun, or it needs to be super fun, but it can't be no fun. Otherwise, people won't buy it. So with Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, they tried to be a little bit more creative. So you get more multicolor creatures, and the single color creatures that you have don't have partner this time, but they have choose a background. So they realized that maybe having 2 commanders was kind of OP, so they went for like, oh, let's pick a background because it's a more D&D thing, and it's basically an extra skill that you add to your commander. Now, I think it's interesting that both background and partner can only be done if the card says add a background or a partner. But at the same time, that limits a lot what you can do with it. So, to a degree, I think that's why we don't see as many backgrounds in gameplay nowadays, because most of the cards that say choose a background are from this set, and they are kind of meh cards on purpose that are, leaning into the fact that you may just combine it with any background. So it's a shame, because the background mechanic, in my opinion, is kind of a cooler, and as long as they keep the abilities lower, tamer way to have more colors than the partner mechanic, because the partner mechanic is kind of broken, because, at least in the Commander 2017, they didn't thought that all the way to the end, and up to this day, some of the best Commander combinations are still from that set. So there is that. Now let's go for Commander Masters. Remember, this is a draft booster, but I remember the conversations when this thing was about to be released about the probabilities in rares and mythics, and people going like, ooh, drafts can have up to 4 rares and mythics. Gee whiz, wizards are a bunch of flyers, because they always say that they all include 1, because more than that will break the thing. And you're not wrong. Wizards is always lying. They only say that because they don't want to give you value in draft boosters. Otherwise, why would you buy set boosters? And now they just had to eat their words, I guess, and we have play boosters, which is in between and more expensive. So nothing is perfect, I will say, but with Commander Masters, people were just thinking about the value. And that's why all the discussions were around the value. And And this is kind of the problem with this set. This is not a good set to draft. This is a good set to collect if you have infinite money. Oh, look, a prismatic piper. Bam, 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 bam. So we have a prismatic piper here, which is fun because it doesn't, like, it's a flexible thing that is useful, yes, in a draft, but bear with me because you will notice the structure in a second. So Coslex, Predator, all that glitters. They really went in for all the glitters for the whole year. Crash of Rhino Beetles, Beanstalk Giant. So there are some, good cards here. Reality Shift. You have this alternate art thing, which is cool because they want you to, collect and all that. We know how this works. It's loot boxes. Rise from the Tides, Hero's Blade. Again, the cards are mathematically most of the times better than the ones in Commander Legends 1 and 2. Certainly better than Commander Legends 2 most of the times. But again, this is most of the times bait. You got a legendary creature here. So legendary creature, Kaho, Minamo, Historian. And for 2 and 2 blue, is a 2/2 that says, when Kaho, Minamo, Historian enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 3 instant cards, exile them, then shuffle, and if you pay X and tap, you may cast spells with mana value X from our cards exiled with Kaho without paying its mana cost. And you may be thinking, well, you are wrong, I can already see another legendary creature in the back, so your theory is wrong, but bear with me. This card is a monocolor commander that doesn't have partner or background. So if you pick this one in a draft, unless you pull from your ass a prismatic piper, because it doesn't state there. I guess that it's house rules because Commander is a casual format. So like, if you pull a prismatic piper, I guess you can have 2 colors. But does this Commander stand by itself? Then another example: Nemata, Grove Guardian, for 4 and 2 green, 4/5 legendary creature Treefolk. For 2 and 1 green, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token and sacrifice that sapling token. All saplings get +1/+1 until the end of turn. No partner, no nothing. So unless you pull or remember that anyone can use a prismatic piper, it's complicated. Another one, Balan, Wandering Knight. For 2 and 2 white, and now we're getting into the rares and mythics territory. Is a Cat Knight that is a 3/3 and has first strike, and it has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment cards are attached to it. And for 1 and 1 white, attach all equipments you control to Balan, which is not bad. But again, mono white. So Commander Legends really leans into the whole monocolor thing, unless you want to cheat with Prismatic Piper, which they don't encourage. You really need to pull it. Personal Tutor. For 1 blue, search your library for a sorcery card, reveal it, and then shuffle and put that card on top. Which is kind of okay, I guess. And then a foil Knighted Mirror, which I always forget that is white, and an Eldrazi Scion token, and a Satyr token. So the best thing that this set has is that list tokens are double-sided, so you don't get as much waste. Now, number 2. This is the tonic, people. At this point, we're just hunting for rares and mythics, because drafting this set, although I got a Prismatic Piper, so I was very lucky, is not that fun because you can't combine your commanders. So whatever you get is what you're going to do. So it really pushes you into drafting monocolor commanders, and there is a reason for it. And is that this set wasn't made for draft. And it wasn't even remotely close made for draft. This set was just made to grab money from you. And it happens that it had a draft box or a draft booster set that is not designed for draft. The whole thing is not designed for draft. It's just designed for you to chase the rare cards and the cool cards and all that. Like, no, and for you to get enticed into, imagine drafting Commander Masters. It will be such a crazy draft. And it's like, will it though? It won't. Because as you are realizing by now, the cards are cool, yes, but unless you get the chase cards, it's there's so much you can do. Now we get into the legendary territory. Judith, the Scorched Diva. For 1 black, 1 red, the head of the Rakdos, well, I guess Rakdos is the head of the Rakdos, but she's the envoy, is a 2/2 that says, other creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith, the Scorched Diva, deals 1 damage to any target. First multicolor card that we pull. Then you have Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle, for 3 and 1 white. Is a 2/2 legendary creature, Bird Cleric, that has flying, and whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. Again, no partner, no nothing, so I hope you really like that Prismatic Piper. Then, as a rare, we get Godo, Bandit Warlord. For 5 and 1 red, is a 3/3 human barbarian. When Godo, Bandit Warlord enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card, bring it to the battlefield, and then shuffle. Whenever Godo attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After that phase, there is an additional combat phase. Not bad, kind of expensive, but not bad. An actual good card that fits in any deck, well, actually green decks mostly, but Emerald Medallion. For 2 green spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So in a way, it's like free mana. And Corpse Ogre in foil. And an elemental token that happens to be an ogre token as well. And the last booster that we're going to open. And again, small sample size. I know that if you're drafting on your own, you should use 6 ideally. Some people just do it with 3 because, you know, we're not here to waste money around. At least not you. I mean, me, look at me. But you can, like, the structure of this is not made for drafting, and they wanted to make you think that this was made for drafting. This wasn't. I wanted to believe that this was made for drafting because it was like, well, I mean, with so many cool cards and some powerful cards, even if it doesn't have all the reprints we wanted, just by sheer willpower, this thing should have a good drafting experience. And it's like, nope, it doesn't, because it's not made for you to draft it. It is made for you to open it, get the cards that you want, and continue. Or if you're smart, just buy the singles that you want from people like me that just bought the loot box game and are suffering. So Victimize, see, a lot of cards are from Commander Legends and Commander Legends Battlefield Baldur's Gate, so there is not even that much in terms of new things. Ooh, Goreclaw, Terror of Kal Sisma. For 3 and 1 green, is a legendary creature bear. There's a 4/3, and creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. Whenever Goreclaw, Terror of Kal Sisma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until the end of turn. Not bad. But again, I hope you like mono green. Piana, Nomad Captain. For 1 and 2 white, legendary creature. So you can see that they went for the same hee trick of like, yeah, we put 2 legendary creatures in there for you to have commanders, and it's like, yes, but they're monocolored and they don't have partner or anything to lay on. So again, embrace that Prismatic Piper, because they are not that cool. When you have 2 kind of cool commanders with partner, or 1 kind of cool commander with a background, it gets funnier. Like, you can do, it's more entertaining. But you have 1 kind of mega commander and Prismatic Piper, yeah. Whenever Piana, Nomad Captain attacks, attacking creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Thank you, I guess. Ooh, Teysa Karlov, the head of the Orzhov. For 2, 1 white and 1 black, is a legendary creature, Human Advisor. For 2, is a 2/4 that says, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And creature tokens you control have Vigilance and Lifelink. While Kaya is a guildmaster, Teysa waits patiently at the center of the Orzhov web of power. So, another funny that we got 2 multicolor commanders, and both are heads of guilds of Ravnica. And another rare, Minds Aglow. For 1 blue, is a sorcery that says, join forces. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Each player draws X cards, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way. Interesting. We got a mythic, because again, the probabilities. Spellseeker. For 2 and 1 blue, is a human wizard, 1/1, that says, when a Spellseeker enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an instant or sorcery card with mana value 2 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. A foil Brass Knuckles, which is kind of cool, and a bird token that is a heron, which is cool, and a Graveborn token. So that's pretty much it. This was a little bit kind of an experiment. kind of a podcast thing, kind of a mini analysis on stuff and why some stuff works for draft and some stuff doesn't. And I believe it has to do with, less randomness actually. Like you won't be happy with 100% randomness. And that's why boosters are not 100% random and they have a structure. And in this case, because loot boxes. In this case, for draft, is even more delicate. They need to have a structure and they need to have a more conscious structure because they need to push you towards, the usable strategies, because you only get 3 boosters and you pass them around, or you only get 6 boosters and you gotta live with what they give you. So it is what it is. Now, if you count the cards, we got 60 cards in the booster. So if you use your own cards alone, it's more complicated. So yes, you may need 6 to kind of compensate, so that you use more stuff of the same color. That's why I'm saying that this is not a good sample for you to self-build. This is more of a sample of like possible commanders and the structure of said boosters. And I wanted to open 3 because that's what you get when you do a passing draft. But if you want to do a self draft, like you buy your own boost, everyone has their own boosters and you build your deck with that, like in a pre-release, you need 6 to kind of compensate and balance the fact that you don't get enough cards of a color or even 2 colors to make a thing. And in Commander Legends, with the partner mechanic, by default, you can always do 2 color decks. And if you're lucky and you pull like a 3 color commander, you can, right there have enough resources to pull all the cards that you want. Again, it's commander and draft, so it's not going to be like ultra optimized decks. They're kind of, they work deck, which makes it funnier and kind of weirder for everyone, which is the fun thing about draft. Battle for Baldur's Gate tried with backgrounds and commanders, and it kind of works, but the card selection is kind of meh because it is not a set made for commander, although it's called Commander Legends. It's kind of a Dungeons and Dragons set that kind of works, and they kind of, but there is not much there to howl at the moon for. And then you have Commander Masters, which is kind of I don't want to say it's a scam, but it's, it has 10, 20, 25, 30 maybe powerful cards that are very, very expensive or like somewhat expensive or somewhat valuable, because really, really expensive, you only have like 5, I guess. But the rest is okay cards and interesting cards, and you kind of have to deal with it. But I believe that it should be just collector boosters. And if you really want to set boosters, because, no one wants to spend that much money in 4 shitty boosters, then I guess. But for draft, nah, bro. It doesn't work for draft. They really tried, and they were like, no, you get your legendary creatures always. And it's like, yeah, but it's monocolored, and they don't have anything else. And it's like, I know what you may be thinking. You're complaining, but you literally pulled a prismatic Piper in this in this 3 booster, so you can use the prismatic Piper. And it's like, yes, but mind you, this enables you another color. It doesn't make your commander fun or more fun, right? You just have to work with what you have. So in that regard, the selection of cards are better for you to draft, as in, let's see what we pull. Haha, I can put this in my commander decks, and not so much as let's build a commander deck with this. But hey, that's just a theory. Magic the Gathering theory. So I don't know. It's just kind of a reflection. Let me know down below if you like this video format, if you like this, and why not? If you want to see me improvise my way in a podcast-like thing as I open draft boosters or boosters and I try to assemble a draft deck on camera, and then you can tell me how shitty I am at building decks. But hey, I don't know. We can only evolve by trying. So let me know. Feedback is important. Like, subscribe, and all those things. Thank you very much for your time, and see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.